My name is Jizza, and I'm from a group called the Wu Tang Clan. Some of you may know about us and some of you don't, But Wu Tang is a sword style of emceeing. The Wu is the word, Tang is the tongue or the sword. So basically, it's just about being lyrically sharp. I'll say I'm a crazy one because hip-hop is my vehicle to scientific and universal enlightenment. Growing up in the 70s and the 80s in Staten Island, in Brooklyn, I was not readily exposed to the hard sciences. You see, science existed in tertiary forms during my youth, and it wasn't until my music career matured that I began to pursue, or I was exposed to science as an intellectual pursuit. But yet and still, as a child, I often wondered about static from the carpet or the aluminum foil that was on the TV antenna. I would ask myself certain questions when I was young, just simple questions that most kids probably ask themselves. What makes the grass green? Why is the sky blue? Why are some metals magnetic and others are not? Why is metal a conductor of electricity and wood is not, but you're more likely to be struck by lightning when standing under a tree? These are questions that require science to answer. Also, speaking of electricity and metal, I have a cousin, a few months younger than I am. When we were younger, he was around 7 years old. He had inserted a pair of metal tweezers in an electrical socket, and he got the shock of his life. The wall was all black and smoky. The lights went off, and he burnt his hand so much that his fingers were burnt to the skin because he was holding the tweezers with his fingers. And the doctor had told my aunt, his mother, that it was his sneakers that saved his life, the rubber on his sneakers. So that kind of stuck in my head for a little while because I'm thinking it was the metal that caused it, but it was the rubber that prevented the death. Not only do the elements interest me, but also physics as this underlying force that controls or regulates the universe. Last year, I teamed up with Dr. Chris Emden from Columbia University Teachers College. He is a professor of science education. We realized that we shared the enthusiasm of science education and decided to form a program called Science Genius, which engages public high school students in science, but using hip-hop. When we first started the program, I was asked, well, what is the power behind hip-hop? Or what is the power behind using hip-hop as an art form to educate the listeners about scientific topics? Well, simply put, I'm not a science teacher. You see, I go into the schools or the classrooms as a musician or an artist, and I provide a model for students to communicate the information which they've learned from their science teachers as recitation to one another in rhyme ciphers. This is a great way of educating the youth through music. You see, hip-hop not only is the voice of the youth, but we are taught as children in rhyme fashion way before we even listen to hip-hop. The first rhyme I ever learned was the alphabets. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. It's all rap. If you think about it,